Good morning. This is Steve Hoffaker. Welcome to another one of our professional education webinar series. This is provided to give you educational format in a little bit different manner than what you might get in a traditional classroom or a rigid syllabus. This is designed for you to hear from professionals in their field and to take away valuable information for you to use in your aging in place business. This morning, Becca Davis with the Coalition for Home Repair is going to be discussing her organization. I met Becca several months ago. We worked together on a number of projects. Many of her coalition members have gone through the CAPS program this year, so that's all good. And I want Becca to share with you what she's all about. So Becca, take it away, please.
Well, thanks, Steve, for inviting me to speak. Really appreciate it. I'm Becca Davis. I'm the co-founder and executive director of the Coalition for Home Repair. And we're a 501c3 nonprofit that promotes the preservation of safe, healthy, affordable housing for all. We do that by supporting the work of home repair and rehabilitation partners nationwide. And I'm located in Jonesborough, Tennessee. We have members all over the country, more than 100 at this point. The coalition was previously called Reframe Association and then Reframe Foundation. We just rebranded about a year ago as the Coalition for Home Repair. Most of our coalition members are independent nonprofits that repair homes for low-income people, either with the help of volunteers or hiring subcontractors or perhaps having carpenters on staff. We do have some Rebuilding Together affiliates and some Habitat for Humanity affiliates in our membership as well. And before I share with you about the resources that the coalition provides, I just want to take a look with you at the importance of preserving affordable housing. And I think a lot of times folks think about, when they think about affordable housing, you think about vouchers or rental assistance, tax credits, maybe newly constructed homes with low interest loans. And here at the coalition, we believe that home repairs and modifications are a really important solution to the housing crisis. In fact, repairs are one of the most affordable housing solutions. And according to a researcher at the Federal Reserve Bank of Philadelphia, there are about 9 million low-income renter households that have significant repair needs. There's also about 6.6 million low-income homeowner households that need repairs. And the cost to repair all of those homes is more than $50 billion, which is just a really staggering number if you think about that. And so part of the work of the coalition is to raise awareness about how home repairs are a really important part of that solution to the housing crisis. Home preservation really is the best and most affordable housing option for millions of low-income households, especially when a nonprofit completes the repairs. We know that building new homes won't completely solve the housing crisis, and for every affordable housing unit that's built, 2 other affordable units are lost through abandonment or deterioration, or even converting them into more expensive housing. And that's a statistic from the Urban Land Institute and NeighborWorks. We like to make sure people know that it costs about 26 times less to repair a home than it does to build a new one. And this is when we're having a nonprofit do that. So, you know, the cost to build a new affordable home can be around $100,000, and it can cost on average about just $3,800 to repair the most urgent needs for low-income homeowners. So it's very efficient. There are so many substandard homes that really urgently need fixing, and the coalition is trying hard to ensure that there are resources and people working actively on this problem. So according to the American Housing Survey, there are approximately 6 million homes in the United States that are substandard, and that means that they pose a health risk to the occupants, to their visitors, and even to their neighbors. The Center for Housing Studies at Harvard University reports that the median age of housing stock is increasing. In 2007, the median age was 24 years. And then in 2019, the median age is 41 years. So the age of our housing stock is going up. And of course, older homes generally need more repairs than newer housing. And in fact, nearly half of all homes built before 1940 are in need of repair. And then a third of all occupied homes have structural, plumbing, electrical, or heating problems, leaks, pest infestations, and even more homes have poor indoor air quality or water quality issues or lead contamination. And we know that most substandard homes are occupied by people who need physical or financial assistance with repairs. And of course, the pandemic made that even more difficult for people to be able to afford. The cost of some lumber products increased by nearly 500% in just 1 year. But there's lots of good news too. When you do repair a home, there are so many positive outcomes. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention identified that investing in home repairs for low-income households is a high impact strategy for addressing the root causes of poor health. And as we know from Steve's classes and other places, the home repair and modifications can allow people to age in place in their own home to avoid institutional care. And of course, aging in place is the preference of most people. And health is so greatly impacted by the condition of a home that the North Carolina Housing Finance Agency learned that for every $1 spent on urgent repairs, you can actually save $19 in Medicare and Medicaid costs. So, the cost of housing related health hazards measures tens of billions of years annually, but repairing homes not only improves the occupants' physical and mental health, but it saves taxpayers a lot of money as well. And home repairs really do help out communities, not just the occupants of that one particular home. There was a recent study that was published within the last 6 or 8 months, I think, from the University of Pennsylvania. So they shared that home repairs are an effective way to address crime, that in a neighborhood in Philadelphia, home repairs resulted in a 22% reduction in the total crime, and the number of units that were repaired directly correlated with that decreased crime. We know that investing in repairs can prevent homes from falling into severe disrepair. It lessens the risk of property abandonment, which of course could lead to overall community decline. And when a low-income home is renovated, the property value increases, which benefits the entire neighborhood. Here at the Coalition, we believe that repairing a home is the key to restoring vibrant communities nationwide. And so the Coalition started back in 2013. We actually started a few years before that as a regional conference for home repair nonprofits in Appalachia, but we incorporated in 2013 and started with just 9 members. And now we're up to, I think, 107 as of yesterday. And so we've calculated how many homes our members have repaired since we started. And also we keep track of how many residents live in the homes that have been repaired by our members. And this includes about 36,000 older adults, 24,000 people living with disabilities, 5,000 children, more than 3,000 veterans, and about 350,000 volunteers made all of these repairs possible. And I'm going to share briefly just a quick case study of one of our members. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to go 2 slides. There we go. So Rebuild Upstate is a nonprofit located in South Carolina. They started back in 2006 when Clemson University students saw the need to continue disaster relief and rebuilding work in the New Orleans metro area after Hurricane Katrina. And then a year later, in 2007, they got a request to repair a home locally to the university in Greenville, South Carolina, and so they did. And today, Rebuild Upstate exclusively repairs homes in the upstate of South Carolina. The nonprofit's repaired over 1,300 homes, and with the hard work and dedication of over 9,000 volunteers. And I'm just going to share a quote from Jake Beatty, who's the executive director of that nonprofit. He says, "Our growth wouldn't have happened as fast or been as streamlined without the Coalition for Home Repair. The Coalition serves a niche industry and provides a proving ground for ideas and frameworks that work or don't for other organizations that walk and talk like our own. We focused growth on areas that had the greatest return on investment within a support system and access to continuing education. Membership in the Coalition accelerated growth to create the success we have today." So since they joined the Coalition, the nonprofit started using community development block grant funds, was awarded contracts with multiple municipalities. They got a federal grant. They have a very streamlined application process. They've won a lot of awards in different areas, including volunteer management. And now I'm going to shift to tell you just a little bit more about the work of the coalition and what we do to help support affordable housing and home repairs through the organizations that are doing the work. We are the premier nonprofit organization that promotes and supports the work of home repair and rehab partners nationwide. And so we offer resources for anyone who's repairing homes for low-income households. We have a variety of different membership types. Our most popular one, the coalition membership, is for nonprofits, but we also have individual memberships. We have opportunities for other nonprofit networks to join, sponsorship opportunities for banks and foundations, et cetera. One of our most popular programs is our grants program. And there's a few different facets to that. The one I wanted to mention here specifically is that when a member joins, they pay a small amount of membership dues. And then every January, we ask our members to submit a short impact report to us. And after we receive that, we're able to give them a Lowe's gift card that's worth more than twice the cost of membership dues. So you get that financial investment back really quickly. And the impact report's very simple. It just asks things like, how many homes did you repair last year? How many volunteers? A bit about the demographics of the homeowners, that kind of thing. Also, it was a grant that we received and passed through to our members that allowed 42 coalition members to become CAPS certified this year. And we hope to replicate that program next year on a smaller level. I personally was able to get CAPS certified through that and enjoyed that going through Steve's classes. Advocacy is also important to us. I have a separate slide on that and another slide about our affinity groups and cohorts. We do have an annual conference, which is a hybrid event now, seems to be the thing to do as we're getting through COVID here. So on November 9th through 11th, we'll have a gathering of over 100 people here in East Tennessee, but it's also an online event, so you could watch from the comfort of your home or office if you'd like. And we have a resource library with all sorts of documents. We put together a best practices guide with a self-assessment that was created by a couple dozen of our members. We do a compensation survey every 3 years. I think next year we're due to do a new one. And then we also offer a lot of discounts and freebies. I think the most popular one that I'll mention is Procore, which is a project management software. A lot of contractors pay about $700 a month to use it, and our members get free access to Procore, which is a great way to keep track of all your invoices, your photos, anything you need to do to manage the project. Let's see here. So we have a number of affinity groups. It's hard to know where to start if you have a big group of 100 nonprofits with dozens of staff within each. So we offer separate groups that people can self-select into. Our affinity groups are free to members. You can come and go as you please. There's no commitment requirements. Just show up if you're interested. We have an anti-racism community of practice group that meets every other month to talk about policies and procedures related to boards, staff, volunteers, clients, anything that we can do to create more diverse, equitable, and inclusive organizations. We also have a faith-based affinity group. It's primarily made up of Christian nonprofits who are a little more evangelical in nature, and that group meets once a month for prayer and talking about the faith component of their meets every other month. That group is looking at forming healthcare partnerships. Our members have seen some great success with getting hospital systems to pay for the building materials for aging in place modifications, whether it's an accessibility ramp or grab bars, because when they see that same older adult in the emergency room time and time again, it is expensive for them, especially if they don't have insurance. And hospitals can actually be fined if they have folks coming into their ER too often for the same reason. So we have some of our members who receive funding from hospitals to ensure better health outcomes. and this group supports that effort. We have a camp model roundtable. This is for kind of the mission trip style group, like Appalachia Service Project, where I used to work. They have high school youth groups that come in for a week at a time. So we do some extra support for them, especially around the summer program. And then we have a local model roundtable as well. And that would be for groups that primarily use local volunteers who come out for a day at a time, or local contractors, people who are trying to seek resources locally for home repair. Our cohorts are similar to affinity groups, but they are a little more intense in nature and do require a commitment, whether it's a small registration payment or signing of a contract to receive funds from us. So for example, the 42 folks who got CAPS certified, they're part of our aging in place cohort. And that was just one component of the program. They paid us $100. We lined up 5 different programs, including CAPS as one of them. And then we funded the approximately $1,000 CAPS training fee for them. We have a construction workforce development cohort. It's funded through a Appalachian Regional Commission grant. We're helping 8 different nonprofits in Appalachia start construction workforce development programs. Our falls prevention cohort is a new one, and I'll dive into that just a little bit here because it might be of interest to you all since you're CAP certified. So it's kind of spun off from that Healthy Homes Affinity group that I mentioned a few minutes ago. But the idea is that we want to figure out what the medical cost savings is to doing home modifications and repairs. So it's currently in a pilot project. We have 14 of our members who are participating, and they've each committed to getting data for at least 15 homes before the end of the year for us. And that would be homes occupied by adults who are 62 and older or people with disabilities. And before they start the home repairs, they ask 7 core questions related to falls. How many times did you fall in your home in the last 6 months? How many times did you fall getting into or out of your home in the last 6 months? There's questions about, was it emergency services? Did they need to come to your home? Did you have to go to the ER? There's a couple other questions. And then we track what repairs and modifications were completed on the home. And then the nonprofit that did the repairs will make a phone call or visit 6 months later and ask the same questions, and 12 months later and ask the same questions. And we can correlate that data with national data about the cost of, emergency room visit for a fall or a hip break. And some of the nonprofits are actually going a step further. And when they aggregate all the data from their clients, the hospital can tell, they can't tell them how much cost savings any individual person had, but they can tell them as a group, these 20 folks had X dollars of medical care costs during this 6-month period, and then a separate amount in the 6 months or 12 months after the repairs were done. And we have 2 different researchers working with us on this. So we have professional data analysts who have agreed to analyze the data, write reports, and we'll be using that to apply for grants, both as the coalition, but then also for each individual participant in that. And we do have a little bit of funding for it. It's not a lot, but for each of the 15 homes that are completed and the data is submitted to the coalition, we give $1,000, which helps to offset at least some of the cost of the repairs. We had a fundraising boot camp this summer. And the last one is the newest one. I'm really excited about it because the coalition just received our first major federal grant. We were awarded a $1 million HUD grant for home repair for veterans. And so we are starting Operation Safe Homes cohort with that, which is specifically for disabled veterans. I've already mentioned Reframe Conference. That's an annual event. We do spring summits online every April or May or so. We do monthly webinars that are free for members. We also, pre-pandemic, had some regional gatherings, hoping to get back to that as well soon. We do a bit of advocacy. Lately, it's been mostly focused on some USDA grants that support home repairs for people living in rural areas. So we have a task force that helps decide our advocacy priorities. We do a campaign every year that nonprofits can sign on to, and then we help organize Hill visits, whether in person in Washington or these days it's been online, to advocate for more funding and better policies related to home repairs. This is our membership dues chart. If there's a lot of numbers on here, I'd focus mostly on this regular column here. Basically, we charge different dues based on the size of the organization, either the size of your budget or the number of employees you have. You can go with whichever one is lower if you'd like. Some of our members choose to pay a little bit more. That's the bronze, silver, and platinum. There's no extra benefits for doing that. It's just some people really love what we're doing and want to support us more. And then there's the column at the end about the Lowe's gift card. And that's in January or February when you submit that impact report. That's the size of the gift card we're able to give you based on the membership dues when you submit it. So some members actually choose to pay into a higher dues bracket because they've done the math and realized that it works out better for them to pay us more and get a bigger gift card, and that is fine as well. We're really grateful for Lowe's. We have a great partnership with them. And I will pause here. I do want to show you a few things on our website, but before I do that, I'll stop sharing and just see if anybody has any questions for me about anything I've shared or any of our programs so far.
Great information. Anyone have any questions for Becca at this point? All right, let's see what else you've got to share with us.
All right, let me grab my website here. I think I had it on another tab. Here it comes. Let's see. Almost there. There we go.
All right.
All right, so I'll start on our homepage. If you're interested in learning more about our conference, you can easily click through to that. I talked you through quite a bit of the why home preservation piece, and if you liked any of those statistics or numbers I shared, you can click on that and it'll take you to the links, and it'll link you through to the resources for the quotes I shared. We also have more general information about why affordable housing in general, and then why partnering with the coalition. We have a lot of events, and some of them are open to the public. You don't have to be a member for all of them. You can always attend one online event for free before joining the coalition. So if you're interested in checking out our community of practice anti-racism group or a healthy homes affinity group, those would be easy to sign up for through our website. We have some more information about our HUD grants on here and about our falls prevention program that I mentioned. But what I'd like to do is show you what it looks like when you are a member and you have access to some additional resources through our member compass. So we have a resource library with several hundred documents. We have them divided up into different categories like advocacy, all different categories. And so we are also happy to track down documents if somebody is looking for something and they can't find it there. We keep a video library of all of our past recordings of webinars and conference sessions, things like that. I mentioned the Procore project management resource. We have some other things as well. We have a insurance partner who provides quotes on insurance for nonprofits. And I specifically wanted to mention Good 360 because although it's here under our membership information, you actually don't have to be a member to access it. I'm kind of surprised I hadn't heard of them until about 6 months ago. But Good 360 is the main provider of in-kind donations to nonprofits. You don't even have to be a home repair nonprofit, any kind of nonprofit. Basically, when a major corporation decides to donate some stock inventory that they have, instead of them dealing with nonprofits directly, they work with Good 360. And so you can join Good 360 for free. Sometimes there is a small cost to have items shipped to you, but actually Lowe's in particular, whenever Lowe's donates products to Good 360, they cover all the admin and shipping costs. So for example, if Lowe's decides to change, I don't know, their stove and oven type or something, and they have hundreds of the old ones left, they'll donate it to Good 360. You can apply to Good 360 and they will get it shipped out to you for zero expense. And there's all kinds of items. It's not just things related to construction. Let's see, I am so sorry. I'm going to pause for a second here. My dog is going crazy to get outside. I will be right back. I apologize. Sorry about that. Challenges of working from home these days.
Yeah. And they won't wait. So you.
No, she usually doesn't do that either. So, all right. So I've already talked about the Procore project management. We have a great partnership with Trinity HPSI, which is a group purchasing organization. All of our members get at least a 5% discount on Lowe's. And when you stack that with the Lowe's gift card, it makes that go even further. We have discounts on background checks for volunteers and employees. There's a few different CRMs that would get a free trial or a discount if you join to help you manage your volunteers and donors, that kind of thing. And then we have that best practices guide and compensation guide. And
Becca, there was a question in the
oh,
chat wanting
yes.
to know how you were funded.
How we're funded. Great question. Well, until about 2 years ago, we were funded just by membership dues and event registrations, but that's now only about 18% of our total revenue. Really, it's through grants. So we spend a lot of time applying for grants. We have some individual donors as well, but we do not want to ever compete with our individual members for funding, but we find that we're often eligible for resources that they individually are not. So for example, that HUD Veterans Grant we just got, you had to serve either an entire state or the entire country to receive, and most of our members don't do that. So we were able to apply with 14 of our members. We'll pass through 85% of the funding to our members, and then we are able to keep 15% of that for our own administration. Great question.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Just on the public side of our website, I'll share our member directory. This might be helpful for you if you're wondering if there is a coalition member in your area. You can type, their address in here, or just scroll through and search. Once you're a member, you can click through and you can actually see a directory of people, so you can see the individuals who are associated with each organization as well. We have a few other things that are available on the public side, and to learn more, well, of course, our news, which is just kind of like our blog. We have a job board, so if you know anybody who's hunting for a job, good place to search, or you can post a job there as well if you're hiring. And then every year we do best practices awards, and the last couple of years it's been in the form of a video. So it's kind of fun to get a sneak peek at how different nonprofits do things. So you can scroll through and watch that, and our competition's actually open right now. And that was pretty much everything I wanted to share from here. I am just really grateful for this chance to chat with you all. I'm curious if any of you are currently, and then we had one Rebuilding Together affiliate mentioned. Is there anybody else who's currently working with a nonprofit that is doing home repairs for low-income people?
Melody.
Great. Oh, you're me.
Sorry, I was on mute. Yes, I actually work for NeighborWorks Northeastern Pennsylvania as an aging in place specialist. They recently moved that they have the programs established in Luzerne and Lackawanna counties currently, and they recently are moving into Wayne County, and that's where I come into play. So I started in spring of 2022. So this is very helpful and useful information, as I'm always trying to find more cost-effective resources, because as nonprofits, sometimes grants are a little restrictive. So you have to find the best way to get the most for the individual. So that's kind of why I was interested in taking this webinar. And so getting this information is very helpful.
Great, wonderful. We do have a few NeighborWorks organizations in our membership, and I've had several conversations with the NeighborWorks Association as well. Just met with them up in DC a couple weeks ago, actually.
Oh, cool. That must have been pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was.
Nice.
Okay.
And Becca,
Thank
can
you.
you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Awesome. Sorry, I had to log in by phone because I can't figure out my speaker camera situation. So Becca, if we became a member, my question to you so this is Rebuilding Together. We're part of Home Repair Network here in St. Louis. We put together a network of those of us who do home repair, but we're in the middle of like trying to formulate messaging and educating the community about what we do. Do you guys help with that? Would you like support that type of situation or no?
Yeah, sure. So we have done a number of programs on marketing, communications. So we have some resources in our resource library and video library about that. We're also happy to help people one-on-one, review materials or to connect them with a couple of our members who we feel like are really good in that area. We'd be happy to help out as well. So absolutely.
Okay.
And I forgot to mention as we went through that we actually have a membership promotion right now. If an organization joins by October 19th, you get a free ticket to Reframe Conference. You can either do it online or come in person, which is like $377 normally. So that could help you stretch that dollar a little bit further too. If you're thinking about it and can pull the trigger that fast, we can get you a free conference ticket.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Anybody else?
Okay, Hugh had a question about collaborating with local or partnering with local groups that were willing to do renovations. Do you do that, or do you control that on your end?
So we don't really control it on our ends, but we could possibly connect you with other nonprofits that are in your area. Absolutely. We find that some of our members have had really good success with occasionally finding a contractor is willing to do a little bit of pro bono work or reduce costs, or even, our nonprofits will get grants sometimes that are beyond what their staff or volunteers can do, and they have funds to hire a local contractor. And it's great when they work with somebody who understands the needs of low-income clients, who's willing to work in that environment and with a nonprofit to pay for the work that's done. So so the question was, how do you get compensated? So like I said, occasionally the for-profit company, will do a pro bono project here or there, but typically the nonprofit would then pay for the work to be done at the low-income property through a grant that they have or donations they've secured.
I know you mentioned a lot of different statistics, which were great. What would you say is the average cost of an improvement that you guys fund or that you see among your members?
Yeah.
And what is that improvement?
Sure. So the average of everything that's done on a home is lower than you might think. It's about 3,800. And that came.
You mentioned that. Okay.
Yeah, the Federal Reserve Bank. I know that, for example, Rebuild Upstate, their average is closer to 6,000 per home, and that's with volunteer labor. So that would be just the cost of the building materials. So it really depends on the model of the organization. Those that hire subcontractors, their cost is going to be much higher because they don't have that volunteer amount built in. Some of our members focus specifically on, just aging in place modifications. Others will do a room addition, a bathroom addition, a roof repitch, plus, so the range, the scale of the project can really vary as well. There's a lot of work done on mobile homes, which sometimes involves like building a whole nother exterior wall around the entire thing, insulating it, sometimes building a new roof on top of it, almost turning it into a stationary building and not mobile anymore. So there's really a wide range.
Estaba escuchando
Elva, go ahead. Go ahead. Melba, you got a question?
No, sir. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
That's all right. That's all right.
I was having trouble with this computer.
Okay. Becca, how much of your improvements would you say is weather related? Rain, snow, frost, things like that?
Yeah, there's definitely quite a bit of that. Window replacement, door replacement, insulation. I don't know what percentage, but I think that's definitely really important. And often it starts with the roof, right? And making sure that that's fixed, and then just a seal all the way around the house essentially, but of course with the proper ventilation. So yes, most of our organizations do consider weatherization an important part of the project. Mhm.
Other questions, anyone? Well, Becca, you were so organized. You gave us all your talking points in quick order, so kind of eliminated some of the questions. That was great. Anyone else?
Yeah, one question. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, you.
Yeah, Becca, where do you have your largest activity at this point?
So most of our members are in Southeast part of the US, and partially that's just because where we started. But then also I think it goes back to the war on poverty and where nonprofits that do home repairs are. There's a ton of them in Appalachia and on the East Coast. There's less as you go further west. But we're trying to figure out who all those are. But we do have members everywhere from Maine to Texas, Florida, California, and Nebraska, and everywhere in between. So we would love to have at least 5 or 6 members in every state. And, I get calls and emails frequently from homeowners who need help, and I don't always know who to refer them to. So we would love to have everybody doing this kind of work in the coalition so we could, better resource people, or even eventually help to start nonprofits in areas where there is not currently a resource for low-income folks who need home repairs. So we're just finishing up our 10-year strategic plan. We're just wrapping up our first 10 years as an organization and getting ready to dream about what we want the next 10 years to look like. And so both a incubator and accelerator for nonprofits to help them repair more homes, repair them faster, more sustainable repairs that last longer, that sort of thing is what we're interested in. Any tips for incentivizing contractors to take on nonprofit projects? Oh gosh, that's a good one. It has been so hard ever since the pandemic started to get contractors. I think now they are so busy already that it is hard. Let's see. I guess really the best tip I've heard is just forming that solid relationship. Once you have worked with the same contractor multiple times, they will grow to trust you and to see that you pay quickly on time. You're identifying the projects for them and help them line it up. So, I'd imagine it would be easier on them. They wouldn't have to be doing the marketing, and some of that initial scoping out of what needs to be done would already have been done by the nonprofit. Gosh, I don't know. This has been a challenge. It's something we've been working with our members on. We've had a few.
Jump in there for a
Yeah,
second.
go ahead, Steve.
I would say just the relationship and the opportunity for repeat business. So the coalition knows that they can count on you to do the correct job, and that you're sensitive to their needs and what the marketplace demands. And then they know that the contractor knows that you're going to call upon them again. So there's a source of continuing employment. So I would say that relationship is really important on both ends.
Yeah.
And I think, Becca, you certainly could make that known as you are attracting people to work with you.
Definitely. Are there any other questions?
Yeah, Becca, can you hear me?
Yep.
If one is not a contractor, but one has experience with managing construction projects, and one is a CAP, how would you work with them? Because you mentioned contractor multiple times.
Sure. Are you talking about in a paid capacity or as a volunteer?
Well, let's explore both.
Okay, sure. Well, all of our nonprofits, or almost all of them, I would say at least 95% use volunteers to run projects. And so they're always looking for people who have experience and who could be a site leader to help oversee volunteers who aren't as experienced. Some of them use volunteers even just to do that initial home visit, to make a list of what needs to be done, take photos of the project, that kind of thing. And we have a few organizations that do more of the capable model. And so, having that nurse practitioner with the occupational therapist, with the home repair nonprofit, and I could see a CAPS certified professional kind of being a part of that as well. And it may not be actually a capable model officially, but something kind of heading in that direction of having people with different layers of expertise who come together to figure out the best way to complete the project for the low income, older adult who wants to age in place. In terms of paid projects, I'm not sure about our nonprofits hiring CAP certified folks, on a contract basis, partially because a bunch of them just got CAP certified themselves, but not all of them. So there might be some opportunities there. Some of our members do hire folks to do that site leader kind of position as an ad hoc basis, or per contract. especially if they have a busy time like the summer, they'll hire somebody for 6 or 8 weeks to oversee a certain number of sites, or to come out every Saturday, that kind of thing. So it really just depends on the program model of the nonprofit, how they get their work done.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else anyone has? This is your chance. Becca is, I gotta tell you, she's very accessible. So if you have a question, you can reach out to her and she'll get right back to you.
Definitely. Yep. Try to be responsive of emails, phone calls, texts. And I'll just drop my email address in here in the chat box as well. And if you copy just the end of that after the @ sign, that'll get you to our website as well. It's just coalitionforhomerepair.org. If you decide that you're interested in joining, it's easy to find on our website. It's under the, which tab is it here? Get involved, and then it says join. And it's a real short membership application, doesn't take long to fill out. You can pay by credit card, you can ask for a check. And then again, if you are interested, I would encourage you to do it sooner than later so you can get that free conference registration. But thank you so much, Steve, for having me. It was great to meet all of you.
And you can always find, again, if you need to get through to Becca, there is a link back to her on my affiliates page also. So
yeah,
appreciate everyone's attendance. We've got another webinar. We've got 2 more this year, so look for those on the website. I will open registration tomorrow. It's not up yet, but you can check those out as well. But Becca, thanks so much. Your organizations that are present today, thank you. Thank you for the work you do. And until next time, have a good rest of the day, rest of the year, and keep going. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye, everybody.
take care. Bye, thanks.
Bye.